They called it the Lavender Town syndrome, a name that didn't come from Nintendo or the Pokémon company, but from the corners of the internet where myths grow like mold, quiet, patient, waiting to be rediscovered. The story begins in 1996, when the first Pokémon games, Red and Green, were released in Japan. They were colorful, simple, hopeful. You caught little creatures, gave them names, battled friends, a game for kids, but deep inside that world was a small town, gray skies, tombstones, and a sound that didn't belong in a children's game. Lavender Town, the place where Pokémon go when they die, and the place where a strange legend was born. The music that played there wasn't like anything else in the game. No bright trumpets or bouncy melodies, just high-pitched tones, dissonant harmonies, and something you could only describe as wrong. It was made with the same Game Boy sound chip as every other track, but this one felt off. Too sharp, too cold, too human. People said that children who played the original Japanese version for too long started to feel dizzy, anxious, even sick. Some whispered about mysterious reports of kids who couldn't sleep for days, who had headaches that wouldn't stop, who started to see things even when the screen was off. And at the heart of it all was that melody, the one from Lavender Town. Nobody knew where the story came from exactly. Some said it started on Japanese message boards in the early 2000s, long after the games had come out. Others claim it was born on 2K, the chaotic forum where internet myths took shape. Someone posted that the original version of the Lavender Town theme had been changed after reports of unusual behavior among children. Supposedly, Nintendo even altered the frequencies of the song to make it safer. But the truth is, no one ever proved any of it. No newspaper articles, no official reports, just stories, screenshots, and whispers that kept evolving every time the tale was told. That's what makes the Lavender Town syndrome different. It's not a hoax that was exposed and forgotten. It's a living legend, one that keeps adapting to each new generation of internet horror. In the late 2000s, when YouTube was still young, users began uploading the original version of the Lavender Town theme. Some claimed it contained hidden frequencies, sounds only kids could hear above the range of adult hearing. When you played it, spectrograms, visual representations of the sound, supposedly revealed shapes in the noise, faces, words, even ghostly Pokémon crying for help. Most of these were edited, of course. But by then, it didn't matter. The myth had already crossed into something bigger than truth. People didn't need evidence. They wanted the feeling. That eerie, nostalgic fear that something pure and innocent could hide something dark. And Lavender Town gave them exactly that. Because even if you know it's just a story, the music still feels wrong. It still makes your stomach tighten just a little. It still makes you want to turn the volume down. Not because it's loud, but because it's unsettling. Psychologists have theories for why. They say the original Game Boy sound chip produced tones that can create mild tension, the kind of dissonance that confuses your brain. The melody climbs and falls without resolution, leaving you stuck in a loop that never feels safe. Combine that with the setting, a town filled with graves, ghost Pokémon, and dialogue about loss, and you get something that hits deeper than most horror games ever do. But the myth didn't stop at science. It kept growing. By 2010, Lavender Town syndrome became a staple of creepypasta culture. Those short internet horror stories designed to feel like half-truths. Someone wrote that Nintendo had received over 200 reports of children falling ill after playing the game. Another said there was a banned prototype cartridge with the original song. And then came the photos. Blurry Game Boys, fake police reports, stories of missing kids. All edited, all fake, but all believable enough to keep the fire burning. One of the most famous editions came with a fan-made story titled Lavender Town Syndrome, The Lost Footage. It described a supposed test session at a Nintendo office where developers noticed that kids began acting strange after reaching Lavender Town. One child, the story claimed, started crying uncontrollably, covering his ears, saying the music was calling him. It was fiction, obviously, but it was written with such clinical detail, specific dates, names, internal memos, that it blurred the line between truth and myth, and that's what made it viral. The internet doesn't need proof. It just needs plausibility. A good story, told with enough confidence, becomes real through belief. Over the years, people have tried to recreate the effect. They've remixed the Lavender Town theme, hidden subliminal whispers in it, added reversed audio of ghostly voices saying things like, "Come with me," or "Don't wake them." And yet, no matter how many versions are made, none of them capture the same unease as the original 8-bit melody. Maybe because the fear doesn't come from the sound itself. It comes from the idea, the suggestion that something as simple as a few beeps could reach into your mind and stay there. Even today, when people hear that melody, they describe an odd reaction, a chill, a small headache, goosebumps. It's probably just nostalgia mixed with expectation. But that's the thing. Stories like this don't die because we want to feel something. We want to be haunted. We want to believe there's still mystery hiding inside things we thought we understood. That's why Lavender Town Syndrome survived for almost 3 decades, because it's not just about Pokémon. It's about the strange beauty of fear. The idea that something made for children could accidentally touch something cosmic, something beyond understanding. And that makes it more powerful than any official Pokémon story. The legend even inspired urban researchers to study how digital myths evolve. They found that Lavender Town Syndrome is one of the earliest examples of what they call a haunted digital space, a piece of media that becomes cursed not by design but by community belief. The myth spread across languages, cultures, and generations, each one adding new details. Some said the tone matched the frequency of human brainwaves during sleep paralysis. Others claimed the song contained Morse code spelling "Leave now." One even insisted the original composer disappeared, though in reality he's very much alive and continued working in the game industry. But facts never stopped the myth. They only made it grow, because every denial sounds like a cover-up. Every official statement sounds like damage control. And so, Lavender Town became eternal, a ghost in the machine, replaying its melody forever. Some people have gone further, exploring the song through frequency analysis, audio inversion, and binaural tests. The results? Nothing supernatural, just clever composition. But it still doesn't explain the feeling. Why does something so simple sound so sad? Maybe it's the context, the graves, the ghosts, the reminder that in a game where creatures can faint and return, there's still a place for death. Lavender Town breaks the illusion of endless fun. It reminds players that even in fantasy, loss exists, and that's something no child's game ever did before. When the myth resurfaced on TikTok and Reddit in the 2020s, it took on a new life. Videos claimed to play the banned frequency, usually mixed with static and distortion. Comments flooded in. I felt dizzy. My cat started staring at the wall. I turned it off but still hear it. Half joke, half ritual. The legend continued exactly as it was meant to, alive through the people who tell it. And maybe that's the real power of the Lavender Town Syndrome. Not the sound, not the game, but the community's ability to make something real through fear and fascination. Because somewhere between reality and rumor, the story became self-aware, like the town itself, watching the players who try to uncover its truth. And maybe that's why, decades later, the melody still echoes in our minds. Not because of hidden frequencies or secret messages, but because it's one of the first times we realized that digital worlds could haunt us just like real ones. When you listen to it now, you can almost feel that thin line between nostalgia and dread, between childhood and something darker. The song plays and you're back there, holding that gray Game Boy, watching the ghost sprites flicker, wondering if you should keep going. You press start anyway, and the music keeps playing. Always a little too loud, always a little too close.